Cool. Welcome, everyone. Episode 5, Chilling After Dark. I have with me Mr. Dennis Manning, all the way from America. How are you, mate?
I'm pretty good, man. How you doing?
Yeah, yeah, I'm good. Well, as good as can be, anyways. It's pretty cold here, so rugged up in my hoodie, and
Oh,
yeah. So for those of you who don't know, Dennis is, I think, a bit of everything: actor, producer. Correct me if I'm wrong. Did you writing and directing as well?
just do writing. I wanted to do directing when I was in college, but as I kind of like moved on through my school years, it's not something that I was really wanting to do. Maybe one day I'll dip my toes into it, but I enjoy uh, the writing process. I enjoy producing things, and of course, acting. I love acting. It's so much fun.
So if you had the opportunity to obviously pick one or the other, would you prefer to produce or act?
Oh, acting, 100%. I like the idea of getting to
Okay.
be someone else that you're not someone who you're not really. Like, I always wanna play a villain. That's, like, one of my big things. I wanna be the bad guy
Hmm.
because it's, like, the complete opposite of what I am. I'm a very nice person, very
Yeah.
down to earth, but I feel
Yeah.
like with a villain, you get to do more things and be more creative.
Is there a role that you wouldn't uh that you might draw the line at? Like I've asked a couple of people and they said, say if the role cast you as a pedophile, something like that, is there a certain role you wouldn't do?
I don't know. I think right now just maybe because I'm still kinda new in the thing, it's like I can't be super picky. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know, but yeah, I would find that very hard to play. I know, in when I was in college, we had some assignments that were given out to us, and this one guy had to do like a very dark psychological thriller, and one of the scenes involved uh, young lady getting raped by a college person who sticks something in her drink type thing, and they asked me to do it, and I turned that down because I was not comfortable doing that. I mean, even today,
Hmm.
I probably would have a hard time doing something like that. I mean, I saw the final thing and I heard they handled it very tastefully, and watched and seen the final outcome of it. I'm like, okay, I probably could have done that, but I would have
Yeah.
I would have definitely have struggled.
And I think a lot of it comes down to if you have kids as well and they want you to play that sort of a role, it's like, well, you
Yeah,
wouldn't want it to happen, or you wouldn't want your kids to see you in that light. Maybe serial killer, different story, but when it comes to those other sort of issues, then I guess it's a bit harder to home.
yeah. No, and I totally get
Yeah.
to, and I respect a lot of people too that have that belief where it's like I refuse to play this because of this, this, and this. I'm like, if that's what you want to do, I'm for it. And then if people like, you know what, I don't have a problem with it, I'll do it. I'm like, okay, go for it.
Have you got much coming up as far as acting wise or producing wise goes?
Yes, I got a lot actually. I'm really surprised how much. At first, it felt like we were going to have a slow period here, but obviously we worked together on a version, which
Mhm.
hopefully will be out this year sometime. Um,
Yeah, hoping for
I
possibly
go to.
picture lock end of June, start of
I'm
July.
sorry.
So
One more
September, I
time.
reckon, maybe.
June, July.
We're hoping for picture lock,
Okay,
hopefully end of
fantastic.
June, July, and then maybe the screening. We're hoping September, latest October. So
Oh, fantastic. Well,
mm,
this weekend I'm heading to Indianapolis to meet up with Steve, Celeste, Andy, and a few others. We have one scene to record for Bad Apples. That movie's pretty much finished, I would say. He's just working on score right now.
mhm,
But there was this one scene
okay,
he wants to shoot to help bridge two other scenes together to make it flow and make more sense.
mhm,
So I'm gonna head out there
yeah,
for that. And I'm gonna hang out with them for the weekend because they're gonna shoot a short. But then after that, June is looking pretty empty. But July is going to be a big month for me. I'm going to be gone for about 3 weeks in North Carolina. I got back-to-back shoots for 2 separate films by the same director, Josh Graves. I worked with him on Late Checkout and Zombear, which will be coming out very soon as well. And I'm in that one. I play a redneck who helps form a posse to go fight a bear. It's very, very American. It's comedy. But the ones I'm shooting in June, North Carolina, it's Carnivore. So like some rabid otters like go crazy on some town type thing. I haven't read the script yet, but I'm really excited about that. The other one was called Yeti with Machete, but I think we have to change the title of that because there's another movie coming out called Yeti with Machete. It's nothing like what this other one is that's coming out. But Josh wants to change the title just so people don't get confused. And then after that, I go to Pittsburgh for Grind. We have our premiere finally.
Okay.
With Mark Two, they'll be in August. So it's going to be a busy summer.
Nice. And the I've noticed a lot of the films that have been even Hunters in a few like Crackoon and stuff. They seem to do all about animals on some sort of drugs or something. It seems to be a bit of a trend at the moment.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it had to do with what was that one? Cocaine Bear. It seemed like ever since that came out, everyone is like, all right, which animal can I feed a bunch of drugs to and go crazy with, and how crazy can we get it? But and then
it's still.
Oh, go ahead.
Excuse me. I was going to say, still being done in the horror genre, I take it, but just using the animals, which none of them were hurt in the process, by the way.
No. No, it seems like a lot of them too. I'm doing more comedy. They're comedy horror films, which is fun. That's what we did with Zombear. It's straight up. It's straight up comedy. I wouldn't even say it's like. I mean, there's some horror gore elements, but it's not scary. Like my wife, who's not a big horror fan, she would sit down and watch this one without a problem. I've seen some of the scenes that he's already finished editing, and it's hilarious. A lot of it was improv, which was fun to do because I feel like you can get very creative with that. And whenever I got the Josh, I only had four or five lines, but he said, "I want you to improvise the rest of it." So I was able to stretch so much for that. It was a lot of fun.
And those films that you're doing, is your character very, very similar in most of them?
I wouldn't say too similar. I know, with the Otter movie and the Yeti movie, I'm going to be producing those with Josh and working behind the cameras. I'm in front of the camera. I'm actually going to be playing more of the creatures, and then I think I play a sheriff as well. But I'm going to be in a Yeti costume in summertime in Southern United States. So that's going to be that'll probably be my most challenging role because I don't do well with heat. I am not a guy who likes the heat.
Okay.
So yeah, I got to have my cold weather. I'm a northern guy.
Yeah. See, on the opposite, I prefer the heat. I don't like the cold.
Well, I mean, you live in Australia where it's practically 100 degrees every day.
Just about. Well, in summer, yeah, we actually my wife's cousin just come back from the Philippines, and it was nearly 45 to 47 degrees Celsius every day there. So they're having a massive heat wave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So how did you find your experience with the version? Because obviously myself and Demetrius flew over, and you've worked with most of those people before, I guess. I think for most part it ran pretty smoothly, eh?
Yeah, I mean, it did. I mean, the fact that you had Steve on there really helped. I mean, because Steve brings his A game,
Mm. Yeah.
pretty much to anything he does, and he always stays on schedule. And the fact that he had everything prepped, ready to go before the shoot, makes things so much easier. Obviously, I wasn't there for the first
Mhm.
few just because of weather, and then I had that injury I was dealing with.
Yeah.
But when I got there the following week, yeah, I was happy with everything that was going on. From what I saw, um, I've heard too that I mean, the week before that I wasn't there. I mean, just hearing from everyone saying, "Oh yeah, we were finishing early," which I thought was fantastic because I've found in
Mm.
indie films that's not usually the case, and it's not like a slam on anyone because I mean, I get things happen. I mean, we're this is why we're in the indie film. Things do go longer, but I mean, I was just so ecstatic to hear that. Oh yeah, we finished up at 6, 7 o'clock at night. When I was thinking, oh, you guys wouldn't be done till midnight on some of those days. But and that's why you having Steve, just having Steve in general. I mean, you just like I said, the guy knows what he's
Mm.
doing. He's always prepared and he's ready to go, and that helps a lot.
And I think having
And he had
Brandon as well, the fact that those two works work so well together. Like I was
yes,
I was fully prepared to do 12 to 10 to 14-hour days, and the fact we start at 10 a.m. most of the time we're done by 4 or 5 in the afternoon was really good. And
hmm
we're getting, it's not
yeah,
like we were rushing the scenes. We're getting enough takes to be able to make it, for the editing. And one thing the editor did say, he liked that it was filmed in 6K because it gives him more room to be able to move with some of the edits. There's a few scenes that he needs to cut around a little bit, but having it filmed in 6K allows him to do that. So yeah, it worked really well.
no, and definitely. I was talking with Steve. I think it was on the way to version one day. He had Brandon do his first feature length. He knows, and he did Bad Apples, and he did a version. And I was telling him, I was like, dude, you could see just in those 2 years' time, Brandon's improvements and just
Okay.
his knowledge he's gaining in these 2 years is just unbelievable.
Mm.
And he's just done so well. Like I've seen some of the shots that you compare with the shots between Bad Apples and he knows, and it's like you wouldn't even notice that these are the same. This is the same guy shooting it, and the same as like version too. It's like
Yeah,
you look,
right.
it's like, damn, this is so good, and that's why having
Mm.
Brandon on there just has made projects I think easy, and the fact that like I said, him and Steve just click. Like they're reading each other's minds, and they're always, and sometimes he's one step ahead of Steve, but Steve will be like, you know what? Yeah, I never thought of that. That's actually a very good idea. But then that's the thing is like if Steve's like, and if Steve actually doesn't like the thing, Brandon doesn't like get offended by it whatsoever, which is fantastic because I know some people have a hard time taking criticism. And that was one thing like with
Yeah.
Steve and Brandon, like they never bickered or anything when someone didn't want to do it this way, didn't do that. Or they're like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. It's your movie. We'll do it that way.
Mhm. And I think that's criticism's okay as long as it's not a personal attack. If it's creative, then
Yeah.
that's fine. But and because I noticed a few times that because obviously Steve was running sound as well. It was hard directing and doing that. So there were times when Brandon would do a little bit of directing, and like you said, because they worked so well off each other, they knew exactly what they were doing, and didn't matter who was sort of doing that particular scene.
Yeah. Yeah. No, and I definitely agree. Like, it's like you gotta have constructive criticism with anything. You can't just say that movie sucked. And it's like, well, why did it suck? Tell me why.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
but yeah, just and so just those two together are just fantastic. I'm looking forward to seeing Brandon this week and chat with him more about some of the stuff because he gets so geeky too, which I love about his camera and all of his gear.
Yeah.
Like he starts rambling off stuff, and I'm just looking at him like, yeah, that's cool. And I'm like, I have no idea what you're saying, but I trust you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's like when people say to me, "What about this lens?" I'm like, "Yeah, if you think it'll work." I've got no idea. It's like, okay, just go with it.
Yeah.
But,
Josh
no,
wants
I
me
think
to
it's
do
the whole.
Oh.
Yeah.
I was like,
Sorry,
Josh
keep going.
wants me to do Josh wants me to do camera work for the Otter and Yeti movie to help him out. And I told him, like, dude, you got to at least give me a month or two in advance so I can know what these cameras are, because I haven't held a camera in probably 10 years and things have changed so much. So that'll be a nice little challenging thing for me this summer, but it'll be fun. I mean, I can set up a shot really good and hit the record button, but when you start rambling off technical terms to me, I'll be like, oh, let's pull out YouTube here and see what they say.
Yeah. YouTube's your friend.
Oh, yeah.
No, I actually enjoyed the whole experience over there, because the indie film over there's a shitload different to here. Here, it's just really a hobby, put something together, and yeah, we'll just throw it on YouTube, whatever. But over there, there are a lot of sets here. Like my editor, I've worked with him. He's a good director and stuff. But over there, everything's done on a more professional level. Obviously, being indie, it's as much as you can do with budgets and stuff. And so that's why hopefully next October 2026, I'll be in Buffalo filming a film called Ashes to Ashes for a guy called Mike. And then from there, we're going to go and do my new one, The Cursed. So that should hopefully be, we're looking at maybe Louisville or something, somewhere like that. So there's 2 films back to back next year in October in the States. And then in February, I'm off to the UK for the same guy, but to do another film that he's directing. So next year's pretty busy traveling for me. So
yeah, sounds like it. Well, I'm hoping next year to have my first feature-length script filmed that I've been working on for the last couple months. I mean, I'm sure you've seen some of the posts I've made, but I'm doing a giant snake movie type thing, kind of like Lake Placid meets Anaconda type thing. So. I finished the script.
So not the whole snakes on a plane?
Oh God, no. So it's like I absolutely hate snakes. They scare the living daylights out of me. I can't stand them, and that's why everyone was like surprised that I did this. I'm like, you know what? Sometimes it's best to write the thing that scare you the most. So originally I was going to make it kind of a comedy like Lake Placid, but as I was writing it, I threw that out the window, and it's a straight up serious monster movie. So I'm going to hopefully pass that off. I have a couple directors in mind who I would like to take over for that, just because, again, I don't direct. But I wrote 2 of the characters, and that's like the thing when I talk to the directors, like I wrote 2 characters based around 2 actresses, and you have to use them. And that's Celeste. I have her playing badass snake scientist. And then the sheriff I wrote around Kelsey. She obviously is an inversion. And she did Grind with me. And they're both fantastic actresses. I keep telling people, I don't care what your budget is, use them. They're very talented. So I have it based around them. So yeah, the biggest thing is we'll just need like a small town in the middle of the boonies with a giant lake. So whoever can.
Don't think that'll be too hard to find over there.
No. Yeah, so that's why I have a few people in mind who I think can do it and have the location in that area they could do it. So it'll be fun. That'll be probably my big project for next year. Probably the only one I'll do next year, just because I think it'll be challenging for whoever does it, just because some of the scenes I have in there are going to be pretty action based. So yeah, and Kelsey got back to me recently. She finally finished it and she liked it. So I mean, that's a good sign right there.
Yeah, for sure. How long does it take you usually to write a feature length script?
It really depends, I guess, what kind of mood I am having. When I wrote, it's called Squeeze. When I wrote it, I want to say the first 10 pages I knocked out in one night. Took me like maybe an hour. Like I was on a roll. I was just popping out. Had an idea, and
Mhm.
then I want to say it took maybe overall it took me a month and a half to write this, and it's like 95, 96
Okay.
pages. So yeah, I would say a month and a half for a first draft, and then eventually I'm going to go back. Once Celeste reads it, I'm going to get her input on stuff and see if anything can change, what needs to be done, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, I'll read it again myself and catch all the things like, you know what, that does not make sense, or that's poorly written, the grammar is bad. So
Mhm.
eventually I'll go back to it. I'll figure out at the end of summer once I get through the next few projects. But yeah, it just really depends what kind of day I'm having. Like there'll be days where I'm knocking out page left, right, and then I had a day or two where I only knocked out like 5 pages, and it's like, man, I was not productive at all that day. So it's just it's the end too. Is like some days I'm just weeks I'm just super busy with my other stuff, and it's like I don't touch that script for a while. Um, I have the problem though where it's like I'm getting ready to go to bed after writing, and I sit in bed and I like trying to decompress from all this, get my brain cleared, and all of a sudden an idea pops up. It's like, oh, you need to go that
Yeah.
route with this next scene, which keeps me
Yeah.
longer. So there were a lot of late nights, but it was worth it in the end. So I was really happy with it. Just the fact that I finished a feature length, I was really happy because I haven't written a feature length in probably another 10 years ago. So probably when I was in film school. It's been a while. So
Okay. I tried writing, but I just give it off to someone else now. I can get, I know how I want it in my head, and I can get the first, like like the end, the start and the ending, but trying to put it all together to get it to flow. I just, I have it playing out in my head, but to get it on paper, I've tried using all the programs. So I just say that, just get someone else to do it and um, do a few drafts from that. Because I think the
what
Curse is going to be 100 pages at the moment, so that might be get cut down.
yeah. I mean, what I've always found easy is note cards. Is writing stuff on note cards
Okay.
and putting them in order that way. Just lay them out on the table, and he's like, you know what, this goes here, this goes here, this goes here. Because I had
Mhm.
that incident with Squeeze. Well, I had this one scene in this one place, and I wrote it out, blah blah blah, and I actually had my wife read it, and she's like, you know, it'd be better if you took the scene and moved it here. So of course I did that with the cue card, and I read it across. I'm like, you know what? Actually, that's right. That flows a lot better. So that's the nice thing is like doing you write your scenes down and like a little synopsis on what's happening. You don't have to do like the dialogue and shots and all that. Just
Yep.
like a couple paragraphs of what's going to happen in this and put it together that way. And then when you write down the script, you have notes, you take your notes, all that, and you go from there. So
Okay. I might try because I've been trying to use Chat GBT, just putting the idea in, and it gives you the characters and different, and it sort of gives you, puts together some part of the script, but then you got to obviously fill in the blanks yourself.
yeah,
And I think it works to an extent, but I think actually having someone else that you can speak to about it, email, you know, that
yeah.
I think still having that human interaction, I think is a lot better.
Like I used Chat GP a little bit on this one, but that was more of a clean up my grammar thing. Um,
Okay.
like I fed in a scene because I was reading. I'm like something does not make sense here, and I just fed it in and it just cleaned it up, rearranged some wording for me, to where it was flowing a little bit better. But it's not something I would say to people. It's like, you know what, write a script straight out of that program because it doesn't work uh, that well,
Mm.
and it's very obvious if you used AI to write it. Like
Yeah.
so, I
You
mean,
can tell it doesn't have that human
it's a
factor to
yeah,
it.
not at all. It's a machine. That's all it is. I mean, like
Yeah.
it's good for some things, but for big projects in the end, it's not. And I created my temporary, or let's say a temporary art. I use chat for that, which I won't be using obviously to pitch on this because I want to use an actual graphic artist. And you can tell that, I mean, some things, no matter how much I try getting it to change the image, it still is coming out wrong. And it's like, all right, whatever. This is just a placeholder to show people what I'm working on right now, and that's all it's been used for. And then eventually those pictures will just get tossed and tell people have my actual graphic artist do the art that I'm looking for. So
nice. So do you don't use Fiverr or anything like that? You've got an actual graphic artist, eh?
Yeah, I have a few friends that I went to college with that majored in graphic art. I have a friend, Rachel. She worked for airplane company out here. Well, I don't think she worked for Boeing. She worked for one of the airplane companies out here in St. Louis that she did graphic art for, and she recently just stopped doing that to do tattoos.
Okay.
So now she has her own tattoo she does, and she designs tattoos. So she's a very talented artist. So I've known her for like about 10 plus years now. And yeah, that's who I go to if I need something.
And you're safe from all the weather that came through that? Didn't you have another cyclone or hurricane or something come through there?
Yeah, we had some tornadoes hit the area. So was it March 14th? We had we had 3 tornadoes. It actually hit my dad and brother's area. They were fine. The house was fine. It had some damage, but other people around had a lot worse damage than them. We had a tornado last Friday or a couple Fridays ago, where it landed in Clayton, which is like 15 minutes away from here, and literally just wrecked through St. Louis downtown. And I know 5 people I know were killed. It was like first time in like 70 years, I think, people were killed in St. Louis from a tornado. I mean, we've had record amount of tornadoes hit Missouri this year. Every year it's getting worse. So
yeah, right. Time to move.
Keep telling my wife that. And it's like, it's not just because of tornadoes. I would love to leave St. Louis and Missouri, because unfortunately with the film industry, it's not here. I keep telling people I go to the college that we shot at, Virgin, Merrimack, the one just right down the road from my house. I get invited there once in a while to talk to the students who they have like a couple film classes there. It's nothing really super crazy, but I know the teacher there, and he has me come in and talk, and I always end it with, if you want to succeed in this industry, you have to leave St. Louis. You cannot work. You can't make a living here doing film. That's why, I mean, I do a lot of traveling. It sucks having to travel multiple times a month or every other month, but it's the way it is. So hopefully that eventually this takes off to where I can put myself in an area on the East or West Coast where I'm not going too far.
That's what I was going to say. Besides, obviously, LA, where is the ultimate place to be if you wanted to do it more of or not have to travel as much, or do it more of a living?
I'm sorry, what was that?
So obviously, besides LA, where else would you move to if you wanted to do it more of a living, or not have to travel so far, and where they're making most of the films?
Shockingly, Kentucky is now starting to pick up, which I just was blown away to hear. Kentucky. I know Atlanta is the other one. A lot of things are shot in Atlanta, but I mean, to be honest, LA would be the ideal place to be. Because James Gunn, director of Guardians of the Galaxy, the new Superman movie that's coming out, he's from St. Louis. And he has constantly said to people on his social media who ask about what I do, blah, 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 to become a filmmaker. And he's like, get out of where you're at and go to LA. Only way you're going to succeed. Okay. I was saying you'll start low and work your way up like everyone. It's not, you walk into LA and you're going to be Martin Scorsese. That's unrealistic. That's not how it works. Um, but I'm glad to see that there's been, ever since COVID, there's been more love, I feel like, for the indie film community. It doesn't matter what genre it is. I mean, we just had an indie film win Best Picture, which is amazing. So I feel like we're starting to see a little bit more of that, which I'm really ecstatic about. Because after I do my Little Snake movie here, I would like to get away from that genre of horror and do something else. I wouldn't say something more meaningful, but something different, because that's all I've been doing is just horror films. I would love to do a drama film. I would love to do a Western. I love Westerns. And they're slowly making a comeback here in the United States. Celeste just did a Western earlier this year. So
yeah, I saw that. I saw a post about that.
yeah. So
nice. The and working with like sort of name actors or actresses, what's your take on that? Because I know there are some that can be sort of divas. Obviously, we're not going to drop any names, but do you think it's worth it trying to get them into your film? And do you think it's going to add much more value, like for streaming platforms or foreign territory sales?
So I've been around actors and actresses pretty much my whole life, because I've been going to conventions and all of that prior to getting into film, and that's how I've learned to actually just talk with these people. Just talk to them like they're just normal people. Don't put them on some high pedestal type things, because I mean, most of the time they don't want that. They're just like, just have a chat with them, and that's helped me, I think, connect really well with a lot of the people I currently work with and some of the named people. I mean, everyone knows Felissa Rose. She's fantastic. I worked with Dave Sheridan, who I've gotten really close with, and he's been great talking to, and he's been giving me some advice and stuff. But I think the thing, though, is, I mean, a lot of people are using the same actors and actresses for their indie films, which I think can be a problem in the future, because everyone wants something new and something different. That's the biggest complaint I hear on social media, which I can't stand. This complaint is that no one's original. They do the same thing, blah, blah, blah. And unfortunately, I mean, I do see that a little bit in the indie community. It's like, it's another slasher film featuring this actor or this actress. And we have so much talent of newer actors and actresses. I mean, Celeste, Kelsey, Andy, and others, and Angel. And it's like, they're fantastic. And I wish people would give them more chance, give them a little more chance. And I think that in the indie industry, just trust us when we say, hey, you should watch this and watch this person, and start building a fan base around these new people. And I think people need to stop using their majority of their budget for one actor or one actress, just for name recognition, because there's more to you got to market yourself. You got to learn marketing. And I think that's a problem with a lot of indie directors, producers, whatever. They don't know how to market themselves. And if you know how to market yourself properly and the correct way, you don't need a big name in your project. I mean, look at Aversion. We don't have an 80s, 90s horror icon in that movie. And we don't need it for that. Everyone did their part. And the thing is, we already have people in there have a small fan base. And I think if we market this one the right way and get it out there, I think a lot of these people's stardom might start popping up. People might start asking, hey, I want so-and-so in my project over this person that's been acting for 50 some odd years. So I think just the audience too just needs to trust us and let us show you that we can deliver with these people on said project.
And I think it's the same here. We've got some really good actors and actresses here. and again, where I'm from, a lot of if you want to get the names on, they're over east, so it costs quite a lot. If I wanted to get John Jarrett to try and get him on a film, but his day rate was just it was unattainable. So, but like we've got a lot of talent here, but it's just sometimes same thing. People want to go with someone they know because and I understand within reason, but they want to try and get their money back if they can. And there's obviously no guarantee that your film's going to make money back anyway. And that's you go into it knowing that. But I'm like, well, give these younger people a go because they could be discovered, like Celeste and Angel and Andy and those sort of people. And then from there, they might get the chance to go and work overseas. Because a lot of people have said to me, "Oh, how did you get to film in America? Why are you going to the UK?" And I said, it started from I contributed to a crowdfunder. I then jumped on a live with them, and Christina happened to be on the live. Sent her the script, and I went from there. I said, sometimes you just have to do that. You just have to get involved with other people's stuff. And like someone said to me, I need more producer credits. I said, go onto Indiegogo and contribute. I said, you don't physically have to be on set. I said, just take a producer perk, and it starts building up. Once you get 5-6 producer credits, then it'll help you in the long run. You can say, I've done this, done that, and you don't actually have to physically be there. So I think people just need to take a bit more time, especially here. And a lot of people want to get paid for this stuff. And I'm like, well, here it's either deferred payment or it's very, very, very little. I said, you're not going to work much in this industry if you just want to get paid. That's it. And some people have only done 1 or 2 projects. I said, you're definitely not going to get paid as a lead actor for doing 1 or 2 projects. Do a bunch of shorts first, build up your IMDb, or build up your credibility, and then look at going from there. So, yeah, 100%. I don't have. Obviously, we don't have any names, and in ours, and when I was speaking to you on a version, I think you said it's not really worth try. I mean, for the curse, there is a role I'd like to try and get someone like maybe Vernon Wells for him, something. I know his day rate, but just for one role, I need him for like 2 days. Again, I don't know how much value that would add to the film, but I know some people who do crowdfunders say it adds to it. You can say, oh, you can pay this much, and you can get a speaking role next to a celebrity. Whether that works, I don't know. It's something that I might experiment with. I'm not sure, but yeah, I think it's just a case, like you said, getting.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to knock the people that. Yeah, I don't want to knock the people that do. I mean, if that's what you do and it works for you, I mean, just go for it. It's just my thing is, eventually we're going to have to start catering to the newer generation and newer audience. Like, I guarantee a majority of at least I know a lot of my friends, and a lot of people just maybe in this area don't know who Felissa Rose is, don't know who Lisa Wilcox or Lynn Lowry is, because they didn't grow up with them. You tell them, you can say like, oh, I know who Tom Cruise is. I know who Benedict Cumberbatch is. I mean, big names. So they know that, but it's like a lot of people don't know. A lot of my friends didn't watch the 80s movies. I mean, a lot of them don't watch horror movies in general too. So there's things like we have to start looking at the future. And that's why building up these newer actors and actresses, I think, is the smartest way to go with these indie films. One, it's going to save you a lot of money too, but there's just so much talent I feel like just being wasted by not using these people. So it's just take the chance on them.
And especially like in the UK, there's a I don't know if you've ever seen Human Centipede, but there's the guy that played the Doctor in it, Lawrence. I can't remember his surname. He's actually quite a big name in the UK, and so a guy I know that's just made one called Rapunzel's Revenge. They filmed in France, and that he uses him in quite a lot of his projects. It doesn't guarantee it's going to do anything, and he didn't have a huge role in that film, but people know who he is in the UK when you mention his name. Not so much over here, but he's a decent rate, and it just helps a little bit with Lawrence is on there. Okay, we know Lawrence from such and such, but he's not like a massive famous celebrity that everyone knows. But they use him because it helps a little bit. And he's also, I've spoken to him, he's a very, very nice guy. Like he's like yourself. If you need help, he'll help you with stuff. He's not just no, I'm acting. That's it. You do what I say, or he's willing to get into the trenches and help out with whatever needs doing as well. So, and it's hard to find people like that. It's hard to, because in the indie industry, we've all got to wear different hats. I was trying to do as much. I felt a bit not helpless but when Christina and Steve were doing stuff in America for a version, I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm sitting here doing nothing. And so she said, put together a props list or something. So I did that. And when I got there, I was trying to help out a bit more, because I just like to do as much as I can on set, because, you know, minimal crew and you need it to try and run as smoothly as possible. So
yeah, no, totally agree.
Yeah, cool. All right, Steve. Well, sorry, Steve. Dennis. See, I don't know if that's an insult or not, but
No, I'll take.
I'll let you.
Steve's better.
Fine. Did you watch the did this morning?
I'm sorry. What was that?
Did you watch the live him and Andy did?
Yes, I watched the first one. I bought them both 5 shots each, so I hope they used them.
I saw that. Yeah.
So
they
I know.
Andy started singing Celine Dion as well.
Yeah, I didn't get to that. I didn't get to that part. I watched the first hour because I had to go. I had to go do something. I don't know what it was, but I watched the first hour of it, and it was very entertaining. So, yeah, I'll have to watch the rest of it later.
No, all right. Yeah, for sure. All right, thanks, Dennis. Well, I'll let you go so you can get some stuff done. But it's great chatting to you, and hopefully we can work together next October.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
What I will do is I'll shoot you over the script from the first draft of The Cursed when I get it, just because I like to get some external feedback. And obviously, it's just a first draft, so there will be alterations made to it. But yeah, I'd like to get your opinion on it and see what you think.
Fantastic.
Cool. Thanks, mate. I'll speak to you soon.
All right, be seeing you.
See you, mate.